Morning. We are some hours, work it out Ben, 2:30, 10:30, 44 hours in to these supposedly petrol resistant materials. Oh, that smells ripe. Now, let's see how they've held up. So that's Strong X. That's Deep Blue. I thought I'd be clever using this hook, but it's actually easier with a screwdriver to get them out. That's Clear Impact. So let's have a look. Let me get close to the camera, see how this works out. That's better. Right. Well, that tiny bit there is probably the weakest point, and that's not giving in. I mean, there's a bit of flex on the whole model, but that's pretty good. Base bits come off. I think we'll be able to use this bit as our gauge. Let's see which one goes first. So that's a Strong X. So far so good. Deep Blue. Yeah, that seems okay. And Clear Impact. Oh no, this one's falling apart. Oh, look at that. Oh, Clear Impact failed. That's a shame, because it's quite a good looking thing, but yeah, that is just falling apart. Look, you don't want your card manifold doing that. Wow. Okay, we won't bother putting that one back in. So the Blue and the Strong X still in the running at 44 hours. That one, not good. That's that bit I was going to use as a gauge. There, that's that bit. So yeah, you can see on that it's folding, breaking. Yeah, so it's gone both flexible and brittle. Okay, another couple of days, let's see how we go. Now, it shouldn't come as any surprise that that Clear Impact has failed, because I was just looking at the tests. This is the manufacturer's test of how they tested after 7 days submerged. So the ones we're interested in is the third one in there, ethanol, and the sixth one in there, petrol. And this is the Clear Impact, the one that's failed. And you can see the ethanol is the one that's causing the problem here. It's caused it to be less flexible, less flexed strength. The petrol caused it to a small degree. And again, you know, this is the standard untouched reference point. It's caused it to elongate far more when it breaks. The strength's gone there, the strength's gone there. So it's not really a surprise. That's ethanol on something. And they do say at the bottom here, water and ethanol reduction in properties. So we've ruled that one out. And then if we scroll up to the two that are remaining on the test, now interestingly, Strong X similarly not good with ethanol on their tests. What are we at there? 55-ish%. Let me go back down to the other one. 42% or so. So based on that, I would expect this Strong X that we're testing is going to fail over maybe another 3 days. But to counter it, it became less flexible there. But on the petrol test, it made it more flexible. And then similar here, flex strength, up a bit, down a bit. Tensile strength significantly dropped, whereas petrol made it slightly stronger. So it's weird. I don't know if those things are going to balance out. And obviously these are far more severe tests than they would be on your bike, because these are submerged for a week, and we're talking about petrol spraying through a tube. But how that would weigh up, say, over 5 years of use or whatever, I don't know. But definitely made it weak. So that's the Strong X. And then the other one, that deep blue that they've got, virtually no reaction to ethanol and a slight reaction to petrol. Tensile strength unaffected by ethanol, almost. It looks maybe 102% or something of the 100. But petrol affects it more. Now that's stronger from being soaked in ethanol, and ever so slightly weaker from being soaked in petrol. So I don't know what to make of it, really. And then the other thing to consider, I mean, I know it's not going to be soaked in water, but water caused it to weaken. That is immersion in water. So how's that going to compare with, say, somebody living in a fairly wet country, riding their bike all year round? I don't know. Again, Strong X. I don't know. Testing will tell, I suppose, but looking at these figures, it sounds like none of them will be good enough. But let's see. Chemical resistance aside, physical properties. This stuff in this top middle window here is the clear stuff I've been sending out, and it's, although it's not petrol resistant, it is really, really strong. It just prints really well. So that's the sort of figures we're aiming for, ideally. Tensile strength, hardness. Now when we compare that, the deep blue hardness is about that level. I'm a bit concerned on the deep blue with these glass transition temperatures showing at 50 and 55 degrees. That doesn't seem enough to me. Strong X over here on your right, 128 degrees, ample. My ballpark figure was, I was thinking about 80 degrees. My carbs never get too hot to keep my hand on, so that's the sort of figure I was thinking. Clear impact. There is another sheet actually which quotes 32 degrees there for clear impact. When I queried this, he thought that was a typo, so they're chasing that up to check that, because 32 is nonsense. That'd melt in the sun. Possibly 50 degrees would melt in the sun as well, so I'm not sure where they're getting these figures from. that seems far too low a figure for me. Even normal use, 50 degrees, I can't see that's right. I mean, if you left that on a windowsill on a hot day, you could have 35-degree ambient temperature, and then the sun shining on it, it'd be well over 50 degrees. So that's weird to me. So these tests were done by a different company, obviously. The bit that interests me really, impact strength, where the PETG has been failing on a backfire. It's the impact, the shock of it, because that PETG manifold, it's strong enough to take my body weight stood on it, so actual strength is very tough. But I dropped one on the floor and it split lengthways, so the impact is an issue. This stuff doesn't break. This is so tough, and it's saying there 217 joules per meter. I presume that's a meter squared. So when you look down at this, it's only 31. I'm not sure that's strong enough, unless I'm reading it wrong. The Strong X 20, Deep Blue 20. That doesn't seem enough to me when the good stuff is doing 200. I mean, maybe 200's massive overkill. It is crazy strong, but not if it doesn't resist petrol. Anyway, I suppose testing will tell. I'm not sort of judging any materials here. The materials are all fit for the right job that they're made for. We're looking for a material that is fit for our job, and it's a big ask. Petrol resistance, ethanol resistance, water resistance to a degree, because it's got to be weatherproof. The strength to hold itself under normal use, and then under the vibration of the bike, and then under a backfire. All these things are just such a high demand, and the heat as well. There's so many demands on what's essentially a piece of plastic. We've seen the clear one fail today earlier in my video. I'll test the blue and the Strong X, let's say in 2 days, so we'll have 4 days total submerged, and we'll see where we are. The other resins, as I recall, the best one got to about 5 days before it failed, so 4 days, we should have a good idea where we are with that.